Now this camera is going to be on a lot of people's Christmas lists this year. It's the A6600 from Sony. It comes out in a couple of weeks. We've managed to get our hands on an early release. Let's get it unboxed for you. So the package that I have here is the Sony A6600 with the 18 to 135mm kit lens. Now, it is important to stress that just because this is a kit lens doesn't mean to say that you're getting a poor product. In fact, this lens I have with my A6400, and I do believe it's one of the best kit lenses that I've ever seen packaged together as a kit. So let's get this thing opened and I'll give you more details about the specs and the price and what you can expect to receive. So you may be like me and have an A6400, so I will be doing a separate video comparing the A6400 to this, the A6600, because a lot of people will be wondering, is it worth the upgrade? So make sure you hit the red button to subscribe, because that video will be coming very soon. Now, one of the first things that you'll probably want to know is how much is this going to cost you? Well, in the US, this particular package with the 18 to 135mm lens is going to set you back around $1,800. And in the UK, it's slightly less than that. Now, if you want the body only, then in the US and in the UK, it's roughly around $1,400. But if you want to really push the boat out and go for the Sony A6600 with that 16 to 55mm brand new G Master lens, the 2.8 aperture, then you're looking at a package of $2,800 or around £2,600. So it's fair to say that this is going to be for someone that wants to take their photography and their video work a little bit more seriously. In fact, this is probably more aimed at the video side of things rather than the photography. Okay, so we've pretty much opened up all of the accessories, and so far there is no surprise at all. I wanted you to see exactly what you get in it, but now this is where we're coming on to one of the first major changes, and that's the battery. Because one thing that they've done, and they really needed to do, was improve the battery size. And as you can see, comparing it to the A6400, it is considerably different, and it lasts an awful lot longer. In fact, the battery is more than double the size. This is a 2280 mAh battery compared to the 1080 mAh battery in the previous model. This can also be charged within the charging case that I showed you earlier, and it can be done via mains power and also by USB. Now, the first thing that I really don't like is the carry strap that comes with this camera. Now, it has the Sony imaging on it, which is fine, don't have a problem with that, but it's very thin. It will be very uncomfortable to carry for a long time. Now, I do know that this camera obviously is a lot lighter than a lot of bigger DSLRs, but still I would like to have seen a little bit extra padding, so do bear that in mind if you're going to be carrying this for a long time. So I've already mentioned that I'm a big fan of the kit lens, the 18 to 135mm. I think it's a range as well that really does allow this to be your main go-to lens. You don't necessarily need to buy a secondary lens if you've got this. This obviously has manual focus and autofocus. It's optical image stabilizing as well, and so therefore you're going to get a lot of great shots with this lens. One thing for you to bear in mind is that as the A6600 is not a full frame sensor, this 18 to 135mm will actually give you an equivalent focal length of 27mm to 202.5mm. So therefore, if you are looking for something a little bit wider, then you may want to get a prime lens, maybe around 16mm, something like that. Okay, so it's time to look at the star of the show now, the A6600. Now, Sony have probably made more changes to the body of this camera than they have in pretty much any of the A6000 range that I can remember. The most notable being the size of the housing for that battery. The grip, therefore, is greatly improved, so those of you with slightly larger hands will definitely feel much more comfortable holding this camera. The body itself is now around 50 grams heavier, but that isn't a problem. In fact, if anything, I think it's a benefit. Holding the two cameras, this one definitely feels more robust, more sturdy, and I guess a little bit more substantial. Now, there are a couple of things I don't like, and they are these things on the edge. I just wish they were covered in some type of silicone or something like that, because sometimes the noise of this flapping around does get picked up when recording. The A6600 has the same articulated screen as on previous versions. It can lift up and out and can be extended so that you can see yourself if you're recording, and you can also articulate it down, so therefore if you're shooting at angles you can definitely get the best shot. I would have really liked to have seen it coming out from the side. I think the old Nikon range, I had the old Nikon D5500, and that to me was perfect. There's also another issue here, that hot shoe mount will get in the way because there is no built-in flash on this, and so if you're using either a hot shoe microphone or a hot shoe flash, then that's going to be in the way of the screen. On the other side of the camera, there is a new feature. There is a headphone port, which is nice to see. You also get obviously your microphone in, your HDMI, and also your USB. Another benefit of having that slightly larger body is that you do get more custom function buttons. There's now actually 4 built in. There's 2 on the back, 1 right by my thumb, 1 next to the menu button, and then 2 on the top. Okay, so let's now have a look at the size of this coupled with its lens. Now for me, this 18-135 together with the camera is about the right type of size to still be very portable and take with you anywhere you go. Any bigger than that and it starts to become a little bit more of a hassle. Obviously it's not as small as the RX100 range, but you wouldn't expect it to be. This is, I think, one of the best, if not the best, mirrorless cameras available. And with that extra battery life, it's definitely going to make a difference. I will be doing a full review over the course of the next week or so that you can get a better idea. So make sure you do subscribe. I'll also be doing a head-to-head with the A6400, which came out earlier this year, and seeing whether it's worth your while upgrading. It does have the optical image stabilization now, but is that enough to take your cash away? Guys, thanks as always for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you on the next.